Our Zens. I'm glad that you like your head. That you
Sounds solid.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Modelo.
Modelo. What up, everybody? Episode 15. We're in a new place. You might notice. We're in my aunt's basement with my cousin Carter, his grandma.
Yep, we are in my grandma's basement.
Yeah. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for being on our show, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. It's so freaking cool to be able to take it to a new place.
Oh my God, this is so exciting to be on the road with the pod, with our boy Carter.
This is a sweet travel kit you guys got here.
Thank you.
Nice little setup.
We appreciate that. My man, you just did some traveling recently.
Yeah, I was in Utah not too long ago. Yeah.
Is that where the first monolith thing popped
Yeah,
up?
dude, that was right around the time we were there. It was cool because we were seeing articles about it. And we're like, oh, we were right over in that area.
Oh, so it already had happened while you were
It
there?
had happened while we were there. We were looking at the articles of it, and we were like, oh, shit, we didn't see that.
Brendan had no idea what it even was.
Dude, you know what? Because he showed me a picture of it. It was just like this monolith, like 2001 Space Odyssey, like this fucking silver object sticking out of the ground. Someone placed that there, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, come on.
Could have been aliens.
Could have been aliens.
What do you think? Just someone was playing a joke?
I think it was a really cool prank, but I was kind of bummed we didn't see it or hear more about it while we were out there.
Got a
'cause we would've
photo
looked-
with it?
We would have looked for it. Hell yeah.
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 You guys went, what did you do down there? Because I saw those pictures of you going through that. What was it that you were going through?
So we were doing, it's called canyoneering. It's kind of like hiking, but you have rope and you do like rock climbing on top of it.
Oh.
So it was like you hike in and then you tie into different points and you kind of like rappel down. So it was fun. It was cool. It was really cold. We did in November, so it was kind of dicey. But it worked out and we're here and it's fine.
Yeah.
We survived. Yeah.
And my favorite part of that story, because he didn't tell his mom he was doing the climbing down the rope part.
Oh my God, really? Your mom's so overprotective. I could see her being freaked out. Dude, you go through so much crazy shit. Dude, and you climb rocks like that are... How are you not afraid of heights, man?
I don't know. My dad really is, so I guess I just got lucky with the genetics. I didn't get that gene. But they, there's this thing called, I didn't tell my mom about any of it until we got back, but there's this thing called meat anchoring, which is where you tie into another person and you use them to like rappel down. And so then like I tied into my friend and then we'd like rappel down off of each other.
Really?
And the other person climbed down. I told my mom.
How far did you have to go down?
The farthest we went, I think, was 80 feet, maybe.
Damn, that's pretty...
Yeah, but I told my mom after, and she's like, no. Yeah.
Dude, the photos you were taking were pretty cool.
It was fun. Yeah, I bought like a cheapo GoPro knockoff off Amazon. Yeah.
How old were you when you got into rock climbing, dude?
Kind of recently, like in college. So
really?
Yeah, like 3-4 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the places you've already done it in, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's kind of like an excuse to go travel and see places. It's fun.
Yeah, what's the favorite place you've been to so far while you've done it?
Probably Utah. Just Utah. Utah's such a beautiful place. It's such a cool state. I mean, when we drove through, because we drove through on a road trip and everything and stopped in the salt flats and everything.
Oh, yeah.
It honestly kind of feels like Colorado. Like, there's mountains and there's just, like, breweries and stuff everywhere. Just a little bit more orange and deserty. But, yeah, it was a cool place.
It seemed like it had, there was a lot of it, different layers. Like, the top part was different from the middle, and then the south part was different from the middle. So, there's a lot of diversity.
I was going to say, even like driving through Utah and like the roads like that were all like curvy and like the mountain sides and like the cliff and everything. It is a very beautiful state to drive through for sure.
What were those rocks you were all crazy about in Utah? You were like, oh, I just love them. You were taking a bunch of pictures with them. They were like, I forget what you
like
call
the
them.
sandstone, the arches and the masons?
The arches,
yes,
the arches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because those are like really only over in Utah, in the United States. So it's really cool to see them over there. Yeah.
That was something we didn't get to go through when we went on our trip.
Yeah.
But you were showing me all those pictures. Like, man, those are so freaking cool.
Yeah. We should go back next time. Yeah.
You inspire me when it comes to adventures and climbing all that stuff. I'm afraid of heights, so yeah, like I couldn't do the things you do.
We can still go to like Arches National Park and just go hike through and see all the arches and everything. Yeah. So it's a good compromise without heights. Yeah.
When they went rock climbing out in Lake Tahoe, I dipped that day. I'm like, I'm gonna hang back with Uncle Jay and Aunt Rose.
Yeah. Dude, I remember when we did the rock climbing, or not the rock climbing, but we did the hiking.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was such a mess, man. But
Yeah, I like how Uncle Skippy took us. It was always like, "Oh, this will be fine," and then Grandma and Poppy are always just like, "Oh."
Do you feel like you're gonna get further with the rock climbing too? Like, are you gonna get more dangerous with it in the future?
I think, to be honest, I think it was progressing in that direction, but then I think COVID kind of came around and really knocked me back a few steps. I was mostly doing like gym climbing, which is pretty safe, and just doing some like outdoor climbing every now and then. I wanted to get way more into it, but then COVID kind of just knocked
Do
it
you
down,
ever
so.
think about like, have you ever seen American Ninja?
Yeah, yeah, dude, those
American
guys are
Ninja Warrior?
crazy. Yeah.
Dude, you would be so perfect for that. You should
No,
try
that's
it,
like
dude.
years and years of training. I'm like in the climbing community. I'm probably a very casual climber.
So you think that there's some very professional climbers
Yeah,
on there as well?
yeah. Those people are like pro.
That's kind of cool
level.
to think about. I
Yeah.
never thought about them as like the pro level.
I think compared to those people, I'm very amateur.
because when you watch that show, it seems like they're amateurs, you know, too.
No,
when they show it.
those guys are like hardcore, really strong.
Because they build their courses too.
Yeah. That's like a whole other level of crazy. It's just that it's kind of weird because that show like dilutes it because there's so many of them on that show, so it doesn't seem like they're that crazy. But I think compared to most people, they're like ultra human.
Dude, the rock climbing guy, Alex Holland, is that how you say his last name?
Honnold?
Holland, yeah. That dude, how in his brain he just doesn't even get fear.
Yeah, my dad and I were watching that Have you seen the documentary?
Yeah, it's Free Solo.
Yeah, my dad said it best. He's like, he's both the bad guy and the good guy in this movie.
Oh my god.
Because he's like psychopathic to his like girlfriend almost.
Oh
And
yeah,
just,
how
like,
he didn't even want to get into a relationship at all because he thought that it would, impact it.
She's like, I'm worried about you. And he's like, I'm sad you feel that way.
Yeah, that's kind of like,
dude,
damn.
cold.
That is cold.
Yeah.
But he, in a way, because there's anything, any day it can end.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd ever free solo?
Hell no.
You really?
No.
That's past your limits.
No. So
Would you free solo something small?
yeah, something small, something. I mean, like it's called bouldering. It's like there's stuff with mats. It's like I'd do that, but it's like I would never do what he did. That's crazy. And it's like even in the rock climbing community, what he did's kind of controversial because it's like that's really cool, that's really awesome. You've shined a huge light on like rock climbing, but also it's just a matter of time before you slip and fall and die, and then make it really hard for like other people to go out and climb because you're gonna make more regulations and stuff like that. So I know there's kind of two sides to that coin. I think most people are for him. I'm for him. I think he's really cool.
Yeah.
But like,
He's such a cool person.
yeah, but it's
something
like,
you'd want to meet.
that type of climbing is a little controversial.
And then finding out that like all their idols had died from it, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well,
Yeah, it just feels like a time game where it's like
hang up the gloves
Yeah,
for your family.
you won. You're done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like you climb one mountain, you're finished, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of all of that, oh my god, dude, that's messed up. To
Yeah.
think about climbing, and then like they ruin it for everyone else. So there's gonna be more regulations because of them So you're saying that like free soloing altogether is just dumb, right?
I mean,
It's just like, why not just do a rope? Because you're still rock climbing without putting the unnecessary risk of dying.
yeah. I mean, and I guess
Right?
that's a difference of opinion in rock climbing community. Like some people are like
Like
totally-
the free spirit of
yeah,
it.
it's like this is like rock climbing at its purest, and then there's other people who are like, that's just death waiting to happen, and you're gonna ruin it for the rest of us. So yeah,
It's a drug to him.
Yeah.
It's adrenaline.
yeah. I
what
mean,
they
like
live
he's
for.
definitely the best.
It's like the people climbing Mount Everest, and how they leave the bodies up there. So that doesn't.
yeah, dude, that's crazy.
yeah,
There's
they-
like mile markers to
Yeah.
people.
Oh my god, it's fucked. And there's the people, I forget what they're called, but that live up there that do the traveling and show the people the way up the top of the mountain. What do you remember what they're called? It's bugging me.
No, I want to say Sherpa.
Navigators
I
or
want to say Sherpa, but I don't know if that's like the actual name for that region. Sherpa?
That sounds really
I
familiar.
have to fact check this.
So fact check it. Someone. Anyway, that's the only way they make money is by taking people up Mount Everest. It's the Mount. Did you see that documentary on Netflix?
No.
Dude, you should watch.
What's it
that.
called?
I think it's just called Everest.
Okay.
Maybe not. Been a while since I've seen it.
I'll just search Everest
older.
on Netflix. I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll come up. Yeah.
But they were talking. It's about people going up, and they show the people who have died up. There's this one cave where a guy's at, where he went to sleep and died. There's a guy who fell. There's a story of a couple, like his wife went missing, and he went to go find her or something, and she ended up falling. He ended up falling off or something, and she ended up falling. And yeah, it's just bad.
That's crazy.
People, there's even stories of people passing that hurt people, and they're like, oh well, we can't do anything, and they die.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, Mount Everest is fucking crazy.
No, thank you.
Yeah, there's a reason we don't go up there, because there's even that zone where you can't breathe at all.
Yeah,
And that's where a lot of things happen.
that's crazy.
Yeah. There's this one video of this old dude, and he's alive, talking, and then they show him dead, and he's all black and frozen. You're like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, that's so bad.
That's like the worst way to go. I think freezing to death like that.
freezing
would
that's
be
worse?
the worst.
Dude, I think the worst possible death would be stranded in the middle of the ocean.
Oh, God, in a raft?
That'd be like my word. No, just like in the ocean. Just like you fell off a boat. The boat's going away in the distance.
On
And
top
just
of
swimming
that,
there.
on top of that, you're frozen now.
Oh, double whammy.
Dude, freezing, dude. But the deserted island, like you're saying.
I don't know, island. I'm just thinking like
Yeah,
you're
you're
just
just thinking out
in
the
the
ocean.
ocean. Like you're in a vest, like swimming in the sea.
Dude, there was a good movie called Open Water that was just.
I'll never
about
watch
that.
that. That's my worst fear. That sounds terrible.
You've never seen open water?
I know it's the chick, and she's just swimming in the sea.
Yeah, her and a boyfriend.
And there's like sharks at some point. I remember seeing commercials for it, but it's like too close to home. I would never watch that.
That's a good, it is a scary situation, being trapped out in the middle of the fucking ocean. So what about Perfect Storm? Could you watch that?
What's that one?
You've never
No,
heard
I don't
Perfect
think
Storm?
I've seen Perfect Storm.
That's with George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg,
Sold.
John C. Reilly.
Double sold.
Yeah, dude, it's got a solid cast, and it's based on a true story about these. Were they fishermen? Were they tuna fishermen? Yeah, and yeah, I don't want to ruin anything, but they go through the perfect storm.
Okay.
And
Oh man.
yeah,
I would have never guessed.
This is George Clooney. Oh my God, we're going through the perfect storm.
There better be a shot where they cut to him saying the title.
my God, this must be the perfect storm.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, coming soon. Really fantastic movie though.
Okay.
I think it was either a late 90s or early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, really good. But I don't know, man, since you don't like those open water, it's, they're in the ocean.
What would be? I said my worst way to go. I want to hear what would be your worst ways to go.
Ooh, you go first.
My worst way to go. I always thought about like what hell would be like. So the worst way to go for me is if someone were to capture me, like peel me alive, like skin me,
God.
and then throw me in a bathtub full of Germ-X.
You just want to be tortured. That sounds terrible.
And then after the Germ-X, they'd cut my tongue off, and then they'd probably take my eyes out, and then take my hands and my feet, and then they would probably take my genitalia off, shove that up my rectum, and then they would kill me.
This is really specific.
That's just what I think the worst way you could possibly die would be. And it's my hell, and that would be the scariest thing I could ever go
I
through.
technically can't argue with any of that. That all sounds terrible.
Yeah. If you have,
I'm just gonna go with simple burning.
I've thought about.
I think Brendan has a point.
There's terrible ways to go out, and I never want to die like that.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone does.
I'm very scared of death. Yes.
Dude, so where did you go to school first off?
I went to college at University of Iowa, but right now I'm in grad school at University of Loyola in Chicago.
Wow.
So, downtown.
And yeah, dude, wow, going through school. What's it like going through school in Chicago during COVID?
Dude, it's been weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really strange because this year, I mean, obviously, there's just been so much going on. It was weird at first, originally going back to school as kind of like a semi-adult, where it's like, oh, I have homework again.
How many years went by that you were out of school?
I think like 4 about.
Wow.
And so it's just
That would be weird.
Yeah, it was just weird going back to school and being like, you have a homework assignment. It's like, do I really have homework? Like,
Yeah.
I'm an adult. Do I have to do this? But that was like weird on its own. And then COVID hit and everything. And then COVID was going on. And then like the Black Lives Matter movement was going on. And there's just like a lot of things back to back that just living in the city, it was really intense. And it was just kind of weird moving to online. And
Was there violence around you?
No, to be honest, this is from my experience. I think that was really overhyped by news in general. I think there were small pockets where that was happening, but I think the vast majority of areas were having like really peaceful protests and just kind of like calm demonstrations. I went to a few peaceful protests. Like there were a few that did get kind of carried away, but I think that was like all the news fixated on.
They didn't see the other side.
Yeah, I think it's just like boring news because news is about entertainment. I think it's just
100%.
boring news to be like, look, these people calmly protesting.
Yeah, like Nightcrawler. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, dude, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's a Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, that's
He
so
kills
good.
it.
Yeah,
He kills it.
But like, it's just that was, I think, from my experience and from people I talked to, what was happening 99% of the time was calm protest, and it's like that was all going on, and that was very emotional. And it was weird to be in school at this time and to have these like responsibilities to focus on when all this other stuff was going on.
Were your classes being focused on it?
My classes were all online, and I just
Oh.
felt like there was this weird feeling of like, are we doing this? Like,
Yeah.
is this real? Like,
You had a reaction to it, because you're like, wow, where are we? We're stuck in limbo here.
yeah, it was like we got a pandemic going on. We
Yeah.
have like a weird racial justice like movement happening.
Should my teacher really be mad at me right now
Yeah.
for not doing that well?
And it was like, and you have a homework assignment
Yeah.
due on Friday. And I
like,
was
slide me a fucking A?
Yeah, I was like, is that still really due?
Yeah, like,
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID.
But it's been good, I guess. It's been like a weird sense of like responsibility to keep me on track during the time. So it's been good. I've been doing research around the Chicago area. So
Yeah.
but it's been kind of becoming more and more normal just as this whole thing has gone
What
on.
kind of research are you doing?
I'm doing like wildlife, urban wildlife research.
Okay.
So I'm studying wildlife around Chicago lakes, Chicago rivers, Chicago ponds.
What are you trying? What are you studying?
I'm looking at invasive species and seeing like how when invasive species come into an area, how do they get there? What effects do they have? What can we do to kind of like calm that down?
Wow.
Are there things we need to worry about? So
That sounds tough, but a lot of fun.
it is. It's like a lot of outdoor work. And then once I collect all the data, I get to go in the lab and just do a bunch of computer and lab work. So
What kind of species are you trying to figure out right now?
right now, my work is focused on crayfish and plants mostly.
What are they doing? I want to know what are the crayfish up to?
I know it maybe doesn't sound super exciting, but it is kind of interesting because they get in there and then they'll mess. So we're looking at like the Louisiana big red crayfish, the red swamp crayfish.
These fuckers are big,
They're the big ones. They're like the red ones you see like in Louisiana that you eat at like
like what is it called? Like a
if you think of Louisiana,
like a gumbo.
southern crayfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys have made their way up here and they're kind of screwing up everything. So they're like eating all the
Really?
plants and they're killing out all the native fish and it doesn't seem like a big deal, but then you kind of read into like what they're doing. It's like, oh, they actually have a huge impact. So we're trying to my lab is trying to understand what do they do and how are they getting here and what can we do to kind of help it.
Well, yeah, because it seems like everything in the world, like bees.
Yeah, like
It's a pyramid effect.
what's the killer hornets?
Yeah.
That's an invasive species. It's the same thing. Yeah. So
And those fuckers are crazy.
yeah, and they're like wiping out native bee populations
Yeah,
left and right.
Joe
so-
Rogan was showing those on his podcast.
is he? Okay.
Where these bees just get wiped out by there's like 1,000 of these bees that get wiped out by just a few of those hornet
Yeah,
ones,
yeah.
and they rip off the heads of the bees. It's violent.
I've seen
It's a
videos.
massacre.
It's crazy.
It's a massacre.
But the way the bees like counteract it by like jumping on them and then
Oh
trying to
yeah,
overheat
I
them.
did see
Yeah.
that one too, where they
That's
fight
cool.
back.
Yeah.
and I have
It's
seen
like
one
a
of those.
war going on between them. That's
Yes.
crazy.
Dude. So yeah, just even for people not to even think about crayfish is crazy because a crayfish would hit. You know more than anybody that a crayfish would by invading, overeating in an area. Well, what does that do? Affect the fish that live there. Affect the animals that live there. That's a trifecta.
Do you ever have to deal with like reckless jerks that just like throw piranhas in a lake or something? they're just like screw it, I'm gonna throw this crocodile in this river.
Chance the Snapper
Goldfish.
in Chicago.
I've seen this area where goldfish are a problem. There's these huge fucking goldfish because all these people throw their goldfish. Yeah, dude, and they become. And I'm pretty sure I'm not. Just Ricky fucking Schmidt. Yeah, they're fucking invasive goldfish, and they can live. Yeah, dude, they can get fucking. A goldfish was this fucking big, dude. Yeah, dude. Now, yeah, dude.
That's nice.
Yeah. So it falls in the line of and how people. I think it was in Florida where they were getting pet alligators and shit.
Yeah. And snakes and stuff too.
Yeah,
Like
and
a lot
flushing
of
them down
reptiles
toilets.
getting dumped out.
Yeah.
So that's what my study's on, like invasive species. It's like
That's
animals
so
are getting dumped in
fucking
places they
cool.
shouldn't be, and what happens once they get dumped there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's usually bad. It's usually really bad.
How do you fix something like that? What do you do?
A lot of times you don't. A lot of times it's just kind of like,
Nature.
how do we just kind of roll with this and what happens? And then sometimes it's like, we'll just invest millions and millions of dollars or insane amounts of money and effort and time into trying to like cut down the effects of this thing.
Really?
So it like, I mean, a lot of people don't see it, but it's like, that's money that comes out of our taxes. That's money.
Yeah.
It's just, the damage is huge.
From a crayfish.
Yeah, or just any invasive species. It's like astronomical, and it's like that's our taxpayer money that goes, and it's well spent taxpayer money, I think. But it's like our money goes to fight these things, and it's crazy what damage they can do to our ecosystems and how they can affect us. So
100%.
yeah,
That's really cool.
I think it's background noise for a lot of people, but it's cool to learn about, and it's fun to like see like what the impacts are.
So like, what would you? So you just go pick up some crayfish and somewhere?
We'll go out to, so my big study was like what crayfish are around the area. So I went to a bunch of different lakes and ponds, and I had like nets, and I went and sampled and tried to figure out what crayfish are living in these areas. And same with plants too. I try to figure out what plants are in these areas that shouldn't be here.
Really?
So I'm trying to work with all that right now.
What a freaking cool job, dude.
You know what's crazy too is you got to think like you have to be sympathetic probably with these invasive species because what's the most invasive species on the planet if not humans?
Damn. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you got to be like you got to be like, man, I really hate these crawfish doing this, but like
I'm just projecting my own guilt of being a human.
but we have to stop these crawfish from doing what we've already done. And I respect that you're trying to fix our mistakes we've already made.
Pinning on the crate. That's a good point.
That's funny shit, dude. So what kind of plants are invasive right now?
Honestly, nothing like crazy. It's
Nothing
just,
crazy?
Yeah, it's a lot of it comes from people taking their like aquariums that they have at home and then dumping them into ponds and lakes, and then they just
An aquarium
like
fucks shit up.
yeah. People just are like, I'm done with this, and they just go dump it in a lake, and then like the little plants get in there, and then they just spread and
That's something
ruin
I would never
everything.
think about.
But that's how they spread. Just the way people don't like think about how it's gonna affect it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, because it blew my mind when I learned that in a fucking fish tank. You know, I thought you just put the plants in and that's it. But then oh yeah, they'll keep growing and spread. I'm like, oh, it's just like any other fucking plant, Ricky. You idiot.
But it's like a lot of these plants are like super decorative, ornamental plants, and they're coming from places like Asia or Europe, or just like they're not from around here.
Wow.
And then we like them because they look really beautiful. And then when people and a lot of them is like classrooms and schools, so it's like people have class pets with plants and animals, and then summer comes around and the kids aren't there, and then they just dump them kind of in like the ponds or rivers nearby. But then it just
You're telling me it's like the teachers in these classrooms dumping this? Teachers, come on, don't be dumping things in the lakes.
I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying like that is a source.
If you have an aquarium, don't you dump it anywhere. Thank you. That's a PSA. We need to tell everyone.
PSA podcast. Don't dump your aquariums.
Yeah, don't dump your fucking aquariums. That's cool, dude. Do you just stay in Illinois, or do you get to travel around the country?
Right now, just Illinois, but I guess this work. I'm only in school right now, but it'd be cool to see where this takes me.
Yeah.
So
Oh, hell yeah,
it
dude.
could just be like researching different water systems and seeing what's going on around the place. So see where it takes me.
Damn, that's really cool, dude. I'm proud of you. Proud of you,
Thanks,
cuz. Proud of you, cuz. I'm
Proud of you.
inspired.
You guys got this sweet ass podcast. This
Oh,
is awesome.
thanks, man. Thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate it. We're trying, every day. We're learning every day. You know what I mean?
This is a solid setup.
It's progression. Yeah. It's pretty cool that we could bring it here to another place.
Yeah,
That's
you
what's
guys got the
exciting.
portable part down.
Yeah. It's easy. Pretty easy. It's just the lighting. It was figuring out the lighting. That was probably the hardest thing about doing this.
Yeah,
Because we have our nice little lights in our podcast room.
that's true.
Oh,
but
wow.
most people just listen to podcasts. You don't need lighting.
100%.
We look beautiful right now. All of us.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about our story in California.
Which one?
Oh,
feel like we
well,
have a
I don't
few.
know if you remember this one that well. Our little flume trail.
I don't recall.
That was one of the scariest moments in my life. It was with you.
Damn.
And I wasn't even, 2 of the scariest moments in my life were actually with you. I don't think you thought the second. Yeah, it was scary to me.
Oh, was it the glacier?
Yeah.
It was like the day after, man.
Dude, it was the day.
2 of the scariest things were back to back in like a 24-hour window.
What a legend.
Oh my
You
God,
almost die, and then you climbed up another mountain the next day.
You went through 2 super extreme scary things and overcame both of them, man.
In 2
That's
days.
awesome.
You did too. We both
All right,
did.
well, I only remember one of
Yeah.
them. So.
That's so crazy. How long is the Flume Trail? Do you remember? I forget.
A number just popped in my head. I'm not sure if it's accurate
I
at all.
keep coming to,
13
like,
miles?
13?
Okay, I don't know if that's true or not.
I remember before we had went out there, I had never heard of the Flume Trail before. And when I looked up stuff, it was like, oh, this super complicated bike trail mountain thing. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be fucking intense.
But our Uncle Skippy, who took us there, just kept being like, it's fine.
Yeah.
He just kept downplaying the whole thing.
I fucking love Skip. He's a legend for doing he's a true mountain man.
Yeah.
But a dick at the same time. Because, yeah, you're a rookie.
In the best way.
Yeah, in the best way. He's the best. I miss him. I wish Aunt Rose was saying he might move, but
She'd wish.
yeah. I always am like, why can't Skip come visit? I want to see Skip.
I think he likes where he lives a lot.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Lake fucking Tahoe?
Yeah, he lives
Shit.
in a good spot.
Shit. But anyway, he's a real mountain man. He makes, and it blows my mind because looking at Skip, you wouldn't think he's anything, right? But no, the altitude, huge difference. Between us, our little stupid lungs here in Missouri and Chicago, they don't stand a chance against Skip's lungs.
Yeah.
It's insane.
How old is he? He's like 60 something?
Skip?
He's got to be, right?
I thought he was in his 50s.
Oh, he's got to be his late. You're right.
Yeah.
He's younger than my mom.
I was like, holy shit, is he
No,
in his 60s?
But he's got to be in
doing
his
this
late
shit?
50s.
Yeah.
And he's doing like mountain biking and like
Skiing?
hiking up in the mountains and skiing. Yeah.
He's a mountain man.
He's fit. Yeah.
And so whenever you go, if you're not a mountain man and you go on a mountain man trip with Skip, it is insane. So we do the Flume Trail. I was in pretty good shape at the time, but you and Skip were gone, right? So me and Uncle Jay we took our time. He was going chemotherapy at the time.
Yeah.
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 But he still did the Flume Trail. That's how much of a gangster he was.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know anyone's stronger, more badass than
I don't know how he
Yeah.
did it. Some of the
He's
things
just
he
got
did.
so much like willpower. He just like pushed through anything. Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
So we were staying back, taking our time, and you guys were just flying. And then it got to the point where it was like, oh yeah, next 3 miles flat, but it wasn't flat. It was still going up, and I got left behind on that part.
I'm sorry.
This is probably a good 10 miles into the trip, and then because the last 3 are down, and this is when things get crazy. Because Uncle Jay was like, oh my God, yeah, Carter was just flying down that mountain. And thank God you had that freaking helmet, dude.
Yeah.
That helmet saved your life.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it did. It looked like it was scratched on concrete for a long time, filed down.
I still have the scar. My chin just got the strap split my chin right open when I hit the
dude.
ground. Yeah.
You literally turned into 10-second Tom from 50 First Dates. Walking down that mountain with you and you repeating, and you couldn't. We were already 3 days in our vacay. We had crossed the country together, and you had forgot all of that. You didn't know where you were. You didn't know who you were, and I kept explaining it to him. And then literally 10 seconds later, he asked the same questions. And I know you were really concussed and everything. But I never in my fucking life ever experienced anything like that.
To be honest, I don't as the time went on, the memories stick more and more, and I remember more and more stuff.
Really?
The only thing I remember from that entire part was you in the car rolling down the window and being like, "Do you want some air, bud? Do you want some air?" I don't remember any other part of that experience at all.
Well, that's cool that I'm the part remembered.
You stand out.
Yeah, dude. I was just trying to make sure you weren't dying in the backseat of the car on the way to wherever we were going. But yeah, dude, that was quite the experience. And then finding out from your mom that when you got to the hospital, how they're like, "Oh, we might have to do brain surgery." That's fucking scary shit.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember
Yeah,
a lot of it.
that's probably the best.
Yeah,
that's probably the best.
And then even us going down there and remembering the trip before that. It was a lot of like me looking at pictures on my cell phone and like being like, oh yeah, that's what happened. Oh yeah,
See,
that's what happened.
that breaks my
I had to
heart.
like jog my memory. And
Well,
then,
let me
like,
tell
I
you
was
this.
talking about it.
We had some kick-ass times.
I feel like I remember 90% of it.
It was
at
pretty
this
fire.
Point.
It
Yeah.
was pretty fire. Did you want
The best time of your life, Carter.
Yeah, that dude would be sad if he forgot all the fun memories you guys
Who are
had.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
And then were you laughing your ass off at me in that glacier story?
No,
Tell
I was
Brett-
happy you did it, man. That was
Uh-huh.
awesome.
Tell-
Yeah.
What happened?
What's going on with this glacier story? He climbed the glacier with you?
He climbed the glacier. Yeah, he did great. I
glacier?
don't know why he did great.
Well, him and Skip had mountain shoes on, and I had my old Nike shoes.
That was
'cause-
the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were fine. Like, yeah, with the next day after this whole biking thing, we went up. We went up fishing.
Yeah. What was the name? Was that Sandbag?
I feel like that's close.
Sandbag Resort. I have no fucking clue.
Truckee
Something.
sandbag.
I couldn't even
No.
tell you where it was. It was
I do know it was really close to Yosemite.
Yosemite.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It was really, yeah, Yosemite, where Alex Honnold climbed. It was really close to that area.
Really?
Yeah, we were really close to it. We were at
Because it was a couple hours from Tahoe.
Yeah, we were at a place that was right next to where Alex Honnold had climbed at Yosemite. I forgot the name of the place. Saddlebag.
Saddlebag.
That was the name of it. We were at Saddlebag. Yeah.
So many people like these. The fuck, Ricky.
No one who's listening to this knows. Yeah, we were at Saddlebag, California. Yeah, and there was a glacier there, and we went up, and Ricky was a champ, and we. Yeah,
Thanks,
it was
boss.
awesome. We climbed it. It was fun.
I had to carve my footprints into the ice so that I could walk across the glacier. Because if you slid down this glacier, dude, you slid down the mountain.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
panic attack. I had a panic attack.
So if you slide down this mountain, you're dead.
Not dead.
Like
You
crippled,
you wouldn't die.
like impaired, crippled. I don't know.
I
Is
feel like
crippled-
I feel like I could have.
crippled's probably not.
I coulda
appropriate term. I'm
guided.
sorry. I take that back.
No, no, it's okay.
How many feet is the descent? If
Too
you
many.
fall off.
Far too many. I don't remember. I remember I was like in a weird state because I was still like recovering from that concussion,
Uh huh.
and I remember being weirdly angry and like wanting just to power through it and be like, I gotta do this.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember, well, it was that same day. I remember we went to a grocery store and I was like in a weird. And I read like later that apparently it's normal with concussions. I remember I just like took a lemonade from a shelf and just drank it, and I was like mad. It was really weird.
That's crazy.
And it's like it feels very out of character for me. But
Uh-huh.
I remember just being really pissed and being like, I'm gonna drink this lemonade. I don't care. Like I don't care.
That's got to be a side effect from a concussion.
But I remember
100%.
that same trip, that hike, just being like getting up this mountain. Yeah,
It was tough.
It was fun. We
Well,
did though.
Yeah, and I remember going through that really beautiful valley with the river and everything while you guys were trying to fly fish.
Oh yeah, that was
Wow.
a really cool place.
That was beautiful,
on the
dude.
the backside.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah.
because we walked through that valley, and then all of a sudden we just go up this mountain, and all of a sudden you look back. They say, "Don't look down, don't look down." And I looked down. I was like, "Holy fuck!" You know, like I didn't. It got high real quick, like that, and you're just like, "Holy fuck, we're high." And then you had to get up this mountain, and then once you got up the mountain, it opened up to this beautiful glacier lake, where the glacier
Yeah.
water would melt down into this beautiful lake. That was the clearest water I'd ever seen in my entire life, and
Yeah.
like a weird blue.
That place was awesome.
Yeah.
You came with us on our second Tahoe trip, so you went up to the other hikes and everything.
I was gonna say, if you were just concussed the day before and then you're hiking the next day, no wonder you were. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, I'm not gonna hike. I'm hurt. I'm staying home.
In hindsight, it's probably not a great idea, but
Hey Carter, you want to go on a hike? You just had a concussion,
Yeah.
I
and it's a glacier. You're telling me it's how many feet you die or you get crippled.
think I'm realizing as time goes on, I'm a pretty stubborn person. And
Yeah,
I
much
think-
respect.
No, I don't think it's a great trait, but I think I was like, I'm fine. I'm gonna prove to myself I'm fine by walking this mountain, which I should not do right now, but I'm doing it, and we did it, and it was fine. If that was my kid, I'd probably be really upset at. Mama, no, she was not okay. She was so mad.
Yeah,
Which is right. She should.
she
be.
was angry.
She
I would have
was.
been like, give him a week at least. He just nearly died.
In hindsight, she was right to be mad. I'm sorry, I was mad at her for being mad.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's funny.
It was good. we're fine. We survived. Yeah.
And you got a wicked ass scar to talk about.
Yeah. Like a flayed up chin. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, I'd be like, look, ladies, look at my scar. It almost looks like you got attacked by a bear.
Yeah, gonna have to change the story to that. That's more attractive. Yeah.
That's funny. Do you remember where we went with him? Where was that at?
I don't remember the name of the place
Oh my
we
God.
went.
That was a really beautiful place
That
too,
was a
because
good
there was
hike,
that
though.
lake on top of it too. Like not lake, but like a pond, like a a small pond, I guess, kind of.
It was like a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
on the mountain.
beautiful though, but you had to get a hike to get up there to get there.
Yeah, it was a bit of a trek. Yeah.
But that was also really nice water. It was cold, I think.
Yeah. Tahoe was beautiful in general.
I wish I would have known. I didn't know Alex. I didn't get into Alex Holland until after our second trip.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I had no idea. Because you were kind of the first. Like, I thought you were kind of crazy when you guys all wanted to go rock climbing and shit. I'm like, oh, man. That's balls. Like, it takes balls to go rock climbing to me.
I think it's safer than it looks.
I just my feet are big, flat-footed, and I'm terrified of heights.
Okay, that's good reasons to not like rock climbing.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
those are two very
I'm
valid
terrified
points.
of heights as well.
Okay, that's a pretty valid point. But I do, if it's any comfort, I think it's safer than it looks. I think the safety mechanisms that are in place are pretty reliable most of the time.
Where's the coolest place that you've done it?
Definitely Utah. Like I said before,
Oh, yeah,
Utah. Yeah. There's been some really cool. It's just super scenic out there. The rock climbing community out there is huge. So in terms of like going out there and finding places to rock climb, is really easy and fun to like find a bunch of cool places to go and check out. We wanted to go to Kentucky. There's a place called Red River Gorge that's supposed to be huge in the rock climbing community. I actually still have not checked out, so I want to go there.
That's cool that there's a big community and they're friendly. Did you make some friends and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a very welcoming community. And it's also cool because it's a sport where from what I've heard and what I've witnessed, I don't know if this is backed up by any like hard science, but women typically actually outperform men in the sport.
Really?
I don't know if that's true.
Maybe because they're maybe weight.
I've worked at rock climbing gyms. I think it's just because they're better on their feet and they're like a little bit more poised and like better at like body awareness. Where men are just like stereotypically like, I'm just gonna muscle through this. And I'm just gonna, like, chin up my way up this wall, and it's like that's not how you rock climb well. So it's a sport that seems really open and welcoming to a lot of different people. Where it's not just like men and women. It's kind of like a cool open community.
And it seems like it's something that's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, especially because of Alex. Like, that movie I think just blew it up and put it on the map, and it's gonna be on the next Olympics too. Rock climbing.
It is?
It got added. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. And what
Is he going to be in it?
No, I think it's more. So there's like a bunch of different types of climbing. It's going to be a lot of like speed climbing. So it's like who can climb the same wall the fastest.
Oh, speed climbing.
yeah,
That
and
shit's crazy as fuck how fast those people can
Yeah,
go,
and it's just like racing to the top of the wall at like crazy speeds.
Is there an Alex Holland of the speed climb?
I don't pay attention to that a lot, but I know the two leaders from what I've read are Japan and America. So I think those are the two countries that are going to be like neck and neck.
Would you even say that Alex Holland, like, he doesn't even, because you said he's controversial too. So it's like maybe the people that do the speed racing wouldn't even like Alex Holland as much because they're like, you're so dangerous with this sport that we're like.
It's kind of like swimming or running where it's like there's different types, you know? Like there's like long distance versus sprinting, and it's like there's different types of rock climbing.
Yeah,
so
there's a guy like Michael Phelps who does laps, and there's a guy who swims the English Channel.
Yeah, it's kind of no, for real though. Yeah, I know, yeah. There's like people like bouldering is like really short but really hard climbing. So it's like 15, 20, 30 feet, but it's really hard, and like that's a whole other subset.
Why is bouldering hard? What makes it harder?
It's like the holds are really small. Like we're talking like for the pros, like fingertip, like half a fingertip level. Like that's all you're grabbing onto. And it's like you have that, and then you have to do like a one-arm pull-up and like launch yourself and grab something else.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like there's just different, and that's gonna be in the Olympics too, bouldering and speed climbing.
Wow.
So it's like there's gonna be these cool different competitions that are happening.
That is cool.
So I'm excited to see that. And
It's
I think
gonna blow up.
It'll be fun to watch. Yeah.
I'd watch the speedball one because I've seen a few of those videos.
Yeah, those people are crazy.
It's insane how fast they get up those motherfuckers.
Yeah. It's like
Jesus.
seconds. Yeah.
How can you even think of the route?
You know what's cool too? If it gets big in the Olympics, it could be like the next resurgence, like how extreme sports for like skateboarding. Like to think of like rock climbing being the next skateboarding like crazy thing going on, and you could even like, oh my God, it could Alex Holland be like the next Tony Hawk
pro skater
of like rock climbing, and or could they make how they make like skate games?
What
for
if there's
skateboarding?
Alex Honnold pro climber? Like,
Exactly.
a video game on rock climbing?
You
It'd be
sound
so boring.
Would it be boring?
What if
Maybe it wouldn't be.
What if it was like the virtual games?
Oh,
Man,
that'd be dope. Yeah, like virtual rock climbing.
Maybe idea. Make a little virtual rock climbing wall where you actually do climb on it, but then it's virtual.
Okay, that'd be fun.
Maybe.
Maybe like a cool way to get over heights. Maybe like you could look down and be like,
Maybe-
whoa.
Maybe they can put it in the gyms where they do all the rock climbing. Just here, put this on and go while you're strapped up. You're strapped up. Do you think that's a
like
bad
the first
idea?
step to feel like into it and safe.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
go for it. Yeah.
Well, when you're
That'd be good.
if you're someone at a rock wall gym all the time and you do it every day and you're there all the time, you're like, oh, you're bored seeing the same shit. Now you got these on.
I'm on a
and-
mountain.
Yeah, you're in fucking Paris, climbing in a rock wall.
Eiffel Tower.
yeah, you're in Eiffel Tower. Yeah, how fucking lit would that be? You know what I mean?
You know what? I think the rock climbing community would be much bigger if they were more inclusive. You were laughing the whole time. Maybe we need that to get over our fears. We need virtual reality.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
There'd be someone that would get so accustomed to that they would get scared actually rock climbing. No, it's good.
That'd be fun.
Huh? Dude. COVID. Politics. COVID.
Smooth segue.
Yeah. Oh, I transitioned hard.
Yeah.
I cut it hard.
Good soft
Yeah.
pivot into COVID.
We're having fun. Let's get serious.
Okay. What's going on?
We have a second shit going on with COVID.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Carter has inputs that I like to hear.
I think it's complicated. I think we got, as a country, very scared of it, and I think some states more than others did a good job of locking down, and I think we're really on top of it. And I think we're at like a weird point where there's just so many different like opinions and alternative like realities of what's happening and how serious this is, that you have states living in completely different bubbles of how intense and scary this is.
Yeah.
And so you have states like where I'm from, Illinois, where it's like a very real, even parts of Illinois, like Chicago, it's way more of a real concern in Chicago than it is in Southern Illinois. And compared to like Missouri or other states where it's just like maybe not as intense of a concern. So I think we're at a point where we're like, certain people are kind of over it, and other people are still like, this is a real threat. We are also at a point where the vaccine's coming out, and we have, I think, a large percent of the population that's like on board with the vaccine, but then a small percent that's still like skeptical and like scared and concerned about the vaccine. And it's a weird crossroads right now. Like,
It has been.
yeah.
And then what do you?
It's been almost a year.
Yeah. We're coming up on it.
Yeah.
Me and we're one of those people, me and my dad, where we kind of think we got it in January just because before we even knew I knew what COVID was at the time because it was over in China just a little bit.
Right.
And I remember my mom and dad, I was like, hey, there's some serious shit going on in China. And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. And then my dad was like, Ricky, I remember when you came in. I was like, I didn't think it would ever be like this. I'm like, well, neither did I. No one did.
Right.
No one could have predicted that it was going to be this.
Yeah.
But
No, for sure.
what I saw this one guy, I forget who, but he was talking about how America's kind of handled it the same way that they did in the beginning with the second wave, with this new second strand going on, with like how we're allowing transportation, all the airplanes,
right.
during the holidays, and something that I don't understand, and I know like as a country we probably wouldn't do you think we wouldn't survive if we went on another lockdown like we did in March?
I don't know, man. It's crazy because it's like, I think if you take a step back and look at how other countries have handled it, and like let's look at, I'm thinking like Germany, South Korea, countries that were just from the beginning on top of it. They're like, let's do this by the book science style. We're gonna lock down, and they were on top of it, and their case rate is so much lower, and they do have successful, like Germany's like in the double digits, I think, of like cases they've had this month. It's insanely low. Insane, dude. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Like, please fact check that. But I think I know relative to us, it's insanely low.
Yeah.
And I think in America, you have this difference of certain sections of the country being like, well, it's our right to wear masks. It's our right to not have to do this. This is bullshit. It's not real. And you have other pockets that are taking it very seriously. And it doesn't work when you have portions of the country not believing it.
100%.
Because it's like you have to have everyone on board or it doesn't work.
100%.
And so it's hard because it's like you have this, like Germany and stuff, who've really locked it down, and South Korea who've really locked it down. But in order to do so, you've also made people kind of like stay inside 100% of the time, or like really lock down what's available to people. And so it's where do you stand?
This is where I'm kind of confused.
Yeah.
We locked down in March, right? Country shut down like it's never been before. Some apocalyptic shit with photos being taken of empty cities.
Yeah.
It's way worse than it was in March.
But the thing is,
why aren't we locked down?
I think as America, both our blessing and our curse is we're a country all about freedom, quote unquote freedom. Like, it's our choice. It's our right. And so I think a lot of states are like, we don't have to wear a mask. We don't have to do this. And I think a lot of people are over it. And I think a lot of people have just gotten to a point where they're not following the guidelines, or they don't care.
Yeah. The only,
my bad.
I was just
gonna say, with the masks. At the first, I hated it, and it'd make you sweat when you go to the store.
Right.
Now I don't even fucking notice them. I can put a mask on, go walking in the store, and I don't. It's like, oh, I got my mask on. So it's like, my bad.
And then,
no, you're fine.
I just wanted to say that real quick.
What I was just gonna say was, because you were talking about if we could survive another lockdown. My point was, it's already hard for businesses right now, because I was at the mall recently, right? And there's lines just to get into, because they're maximum occupancy in all the stores there. There's only so many people you can even allow in. How many people just pass a business because there's a line?
Right.
And they can't even get... That's like 70% of your business right there, because they don't want to fuck with no lines.
Right.
And on top of that, now you're also talking about, there's going to be bailouts, and there's going to be... The mom and pop shops are going to be fucked up.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for them. I'm not saying that
crazy.
they're fucked. I don't want to say fucked, but it's going to be tough.
I think we're going to look at a very different country in the next 5 years because of COVID and how it affected the economy.
Society's definitely already got to adapt to this new normal.
I mean, I've been reading some stuff about how we, like, they're calling it like the rate of digitization, like how fast we've digitized and gone over to like more computer stuff has like accelerated so much because of COVID. Like stuff like DoorDash and like online, kind of like what you're talking about earlier, like online banking and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like we moved that so fast because we've had to in the past year. So it's kind of weird to see how that's also playing out.
Damn. And it's like, just think about how less person-to-person communication there's going to be. Even classes, like Zoom classes and everything. Like,
Me and Britt, tell that movie we were watching where it was like really kind of freaky about how shit was similar.
Oh, it was from the 90s. It was called Demolition Man with
Is that Jude Law? Wait, no. That's the remake.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, that's the original. Yeah.
And Wesley Snipes. And there's a scene where there's a meeting that they have, and everyone's on like Segways, like Segways attached with iPads at the top.
Okay.
And their faces were on
zooming.
there, like they're zooming.
Yeah.
And
It was freaky. I was like, oh shit.
they're like, they called it in 1993 when this movie came out.
Damn,
there was some other stuff to go with it too, to go with that. But
that's crazy.
There was a few other things that were like, they TikTok.
Yeah.
They talked about TikTok.
And the
That's
restaurants. There was no restaurants. It was just Taco Bell owned everything.
You know, if any fast food restaurant did take over everything,
It would be Taco Bell.
I'm okay with that. I'd be okay with Taco Bell being like the only choice I have for food.
I'm just still. Is it just because the mom and pop shops and we would fucking lose it? Is the reason? Because I'm just still confused. I'm like, okay, America's having how many deaths are we having a day It's a shitload.
Yeah, we're over the amount of deaths that happened in World War II.
Then why the fuck
crazy.
are we going out? I was out. I had to go get some shit, right? Schnucks Target for Christmas and the day before was fucking packed.
You know, I don't want to get like political. I think it's because we as a country have made it a political issue. We've made
Isn't
it
that
like
fucked?
we've made it a it's real versus it's not real issue. Where no other modern Western country, not even Western, no first world country has had the same problem of division of like, this is real versus this is not real.
They've all come to as a country,
sank or swam.
Yeah,
They either
like we agree with this.
We're locking down and we're following the science, and we're gonna nip this in the bud and like keep it calm. And they've all had lower rates, and we're just like, no, it's my right to do whatever I want. And it's not effective when you have half of a country not following science and not following these guidelines. And I know it's for some people a matter of opinion. But just look at the numbers of countries that are following it. They don't have the same case rates.
100%.
They don't have the same issues. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see that and be like, we could be there. We should be there.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what though? It's a trade-off because we get the freedoms to make it hard to do these things. Because in Iraq, if you steal something, they just cut your fucking hand off. Guess what? The stealing rate in Iraq declined a lot.
Zero.
No one's stealing shit. You could leave your keys in your ignition. No one's stealing it because your hand's gonna get cut the fuck off. If they were cutting hands off because you weren't wearing your mask, everyone would have a mask on right now. Guarantee it.
Dude, it's weird how much Carter, have you ever been? How is Chicago? So, I'm from fucking Arnold, Missouri, where people don't. You'll be in a Schnucks where everyone's wearing a mask and some punk ass dude's not,
Yeah.
and I want to beat the shit out of him. What's with why? Where's my attachment at with that? Where's my attach?
I think he's right because if we just I mean maybe not be as harsh as the hand cutting offs.
Yeah,
But like,
I could tone that down. Yeah.
but you know what I mean. It's just like a general human nature fact. Like people, general demographics are gonna bend to the fear.
Yeah, and I think I was listening to an interesting podcast. Was talking about like how do you get the public on board with something, and they were talking about how like the example they had actually used was interesting. They were talking about condoms, and they were saying how with condoms it was like simple messaging. We had like even cartoons of like condoms with faces. We like made it super straightforward. We all said the same thing. And they're saying how America messed that up so much with like in comparison to COVID, where we had different facts. We had like scientific arguments that were like competing against each other, like masks help, masks don't help, vice versa. And we were having these like we weren't being simple and straightforward, and we created these two alternate realities where people were either able to buy in or say it's not real, it's not effective.
Confusing dumbasses.
Yeah, and so we did according to this podcast, and I think looking back, it makes a lot of sense. I think we did a really poor job of picking a central message and sticking to it and being like, we need to wear masks, we need to help each other, we need to just get over this, get through it, be done with it, and move on. And now we're kind of dragging it out and making it way worse than it ever needed to be, which is unfortunate.
How long do you think this plays out?
The vaccine stuff's pretty cool. I think that I've been following the vaccine news a lot, just because I think it's really interesting what they were doing with that. It sounds like hopefully in spring, early summer, it's just going to be done. Like hopefully at that point, it sounds like the vaccine is going to be widespread and distributed, and everyone can get it, and we can start opening stuff back up. So I think conservatively like summertime, hopefully sooner. It sounds like maybe early spring, maybe we'd be back on board with everything. Maybe early winter if we can start really speeding things up, but just from what I've been reading, that's what it sounds like at least.
I think I'll probably end up following science and just get the vaccine. You know, I put worse things in my body.
Yeah.
Follow science, right?
Yeah. I'm all for science. 100%. I'm in grad school about science. I love science.
Yeah. Same.
It's there for a reason. Yeah.
It's funny how things get interesting more as an adult. As a kid, I couldn't give a shit, but as I've grown, it's like, man, I wish I would have paid attention more when I was a kid because I find it so fascinating today.
Yeah. Cool thing about science is like
you can always learn.
Yeah, and like the whole point of it is that everyone in the scientific community is fact-checking each other and keeping each other accountable.
Right.
It's not just opinions.
Exactly.
It's not just feelings about things. It's like we're testing and retesting and always evaluating these things. And if something winds up being wrong, that's part of the point.
Yeah, like a theory.
We reevaluate and change it.
Yeah.
We grow.
Yeah.
That's a good point that you said too. Is like it's not based on feelings. Like you test and retest. Because you maybe have a good point there with like, people leading with feelings instead of like having facts to back up what they're saying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't mean to get like political or whatever about COVID, but
I'm sad because we got to end this episode.
Yeah, this has been fun. It's fun doing this.
We'll definitely have to do it again, man. Next time you're in town again.
Yeah.
That's why we're down here in this basement. He lives in Chicago. The Bears.
The Bears.
Do
or if you ever come to Chicago, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. We can bring this to Chicago.
Yeah, we got a whole 100%. Set in my apartment. Yeah.
Dude, thank you for doing this with us.
Thanks for having me.
I really
appreciate it. A lot of fun.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And time goes by fast, man.
Yeah.
It goes crazy fast.
I loved it.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on.
Awesome.
Thanks for being on the Brendan Schmitty Show, brother.
Thank you. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take it easy, Jopins. Episode 15.